Direct selling is my absolute favorite way of generating freelance marketing clients. In this video, I'm going to explain what it is, why you should be doing it, and then in the rest of the videos in this module, I'm going to explain exactly how to do it. The specifics of the preparation you need to do before you walk into the business that will increase your chances of actually talking to the business owner, what you need to say to that business owner when you're actually in their business, and then how do you follow up with them to make it much more likely that they're actually going to become a client. First, what is direct selling? Direct selling is where you, in person, go into a business or you meet a person who has a business and you pitch them your ideas and you try and sell them. It's a bit like cold calling, where the purpose of cold calling is to break the ice. The purpose of direct selling isn't, when you're talking about freelance marketing, it's not to sell them right there. It's to make the introduction so that they know who you are and they can start building a mental picture of you and your work and the potential if they work together with you. The sale on remote freelance marketing is usually around 3 months. It can be quicker if they have a specific problem you can fix. But if you want to work with someone on a retainer basis and you're going to be working with them for a long time, the actual timeline of the sale is going to be about 3 months. So direct selling, this is where you walk into a business. The reason this is my favorite one is, number one, the personal connection that you can make when you are face to face with a business owner, especially if you've done a small amount of preparation. It's the biggest and fastest connection you can get. It's the fastest way to build trust with this business owner. Why? I can look the business owner in the eye, demonstrate that I am an expert in the marketing that I'm talking about. We can shake hands with a proper handshake and we can feel each other. There's probably also some biology going on here, which is if you're face to face, you're probably smelling each other. Smell is a huge part of any relationship. And if you're cold calling someone on the phone and they can't see your face, they can't look in your eyes, they can't smell you, they can't hear your voice, they can't hear if you've got a little tremor in your voice, they can't pick up on little subtle signs of dishonesty. If you're cold calling, you don't get any of that. But if you're direct selling and you manage to go into someone's business, you have a much better chance of building trust with that person. Another thing, it's not very scalable. If you think about yourself, how many businesses could you reasonably talk to in one day? Even if you're doing one business every 5 minutes, you're not going to be able to talk to thousands of businesses. And so the person that you're talking to realizes that you've got off your arse and you've come into their business, you've looked at them beforehand, so they actually know that you've done some preparation. All that preparation that you need to do will be in the next modules. You've done some preparation. You've put actual time and effort in, and that goes a long way when a business owner is talking to you. Even if they don't need what that you're selling now, the fact that you've gone into their business and you've taken the time to be considerate, that is the start of a very good relationship. If you look at the other module in this program, we're going to have one on building a proper CRM process. CRM is customer relationship management. That's basically the tool you use to follow up with people. Okay, and we use HubSpot here because it's very good. But if you go into a business and you introduce yourself to the business owner, when you enter them into your CRM and you start following up with them, on a particular cadence that you've chosen, because you already know them, you've met them face to face, it's much more likely that they're going to buy from you 3 months, 6 months down the line, because they've put a name to a face. You've heard first impressions count, and I think that's so important. If the first impression is a cold call, sure, if you talk very nicely on the phone, you've researched them and you've conveyed what you want to say to them extremely well, they're going to trust you on the phone. They're not going to trust you as much as if they've actually looked you in the eye and shaken your hand. And so that is the real benefit of direct selling, is the trust that you get meeting someone face to face is just exponentially higher than almost any other method. The other method, I think, which probably has almost as much trust because it's over multiple times, is if you're making video content that really resonates with people. So for example, you're listening to me right now, and if you like the way that I talk and you like the way that I teach, and you watch 10, 12, 15 of my videos, potentially we've spent 7 hours together and you feel like you know me. And so the trust that you would have if I ever called you up after watching 7 of my videos, that is a lot of trust because we've spent a lot of time together. Sure, it's parasocial, it's a one-way relationship. I've not spent any time with you if you just watch the videos. But your brain doesn't know that. And so those kind of videos can have just as much trust as going into a business. But I haven't shaken your hand, and I haven't looked you in the eye properly, and you haven't smelled my pheromones, as weird as that is. It's a big part of sales psychology, right? If you go in stinking of fags, or you go in stinking of cigarettes even, unless they're a smoker, that's going to really put them off. So smell is a huge thing. And going directly into a business instantly builds trust. If you've done your prep, you're not nervous, okay? So that is what direct selling is, which is where you go into a business and you've done the prep. And you should do that because the trust that you build is so fast. And the next modules down below this are going to be covering what prep you need to do, how you approach them, what do you do if there's no business owner in the business, do you come back, do you message, all of that kind of stuff. But for now, what you need to know is direct selling should be one of the main weapons in your sales arsenal. And if you're traveling, so this course that you're watching is remote freelance marketing. One of the main benefits of being traveling when you're doing direct selling is that you're moving from place to place fairly regularly. You're never going to run out of businesses. If you move to a new place, it's all new businesses that you can walk into. So you can never run out. Also, if you're in a major city, like I'm currently filming this in London right now on my little boat, you can't run out of businesses in London. I have been all over London doing direct selling. And in 2021, I really pushed it with the direct selling, and I talked to more than 10,000 people on the street. A good proportion of those were businesses that I walked into, and many thousands of those were just random people on the street that I talked to. You very quickly learn how to deal with objections. And one of the main ones that I think you're going to have with direct selling is that you're nervous of going in and pitching someone face to face. That will all be covered in the next modules. This is the best, most effective method for generating your clients. And one final thing I'll say on this one about why you should do it is that you probably need to talk to around 50 or 60 businesses before you have a couple of paying clients for your freelance marketing business, right? 50 or 60 businesses with the research on their business and a slight bit of preparation, you could still do that in a week. 10 businesses a day, one business every half an hour. Yeah, you can do that in a week and have 3 or 4 paying clients by the end of the week. Okay, if you know your stuff, if you followed the rest of the modules in this program about website building, about advertising, about SEO, about auditing websites, if you have all of those tools in your arsenal, when you actually go and you see a business on the street, you get your phone out and you check their website, you think, okay, right, well, that's not so good. Who are they selling to? They're selling to, let's take a dentist. They got dental patients, but it doesn't actually say here anything about the work that they do. Yeah, it's obvious, but people don't assume that they're going to do something. They should specifically say. So then you go into the dentist, you meet the owner if they're around. Usually they're in with a patient, so you've got a book, okay? But you go in, you say, hey, I think I've spotted a gap in your website that would result in more sales for you. Do you have time to talk about this now? Usually they'll be like, oh yeah, just quickly, what do you want? What do you want? Go on, tell me. Kill a sale. Now we're talking. If you then follow up with that person because they've met you, it's almost guaranteed eventually they will become a client of yours.